All right, another Monday. Whew. Okay. I currently don't have anything planned for today. I mean, I never do. Never have anything planned. But now I really don't. So the way that I envision today going is I'm going to hang out, wait for you guys, some people to come in, ask you how your day's going, and then boom. Let's do another animation cycle. Okay? You throw out suggestions, I'll make some suggestions, and then when we land on something, a performance that we want to do, then I'll go ahead and start animating it, and just that'll be what it is. So as soon as some people start popping in here, we'll make that decision together as far as what to do. But for now, I'm going to try my coffee. Let's see. Let's go ahead and share my screen. We'll just get started that way. Let's go entire screen. Boom, boom. Here we go. Let me get this set up real quick. I'm live. Man, I look so tired in that thumbnail. Okay. So I just wrapped up a video that I've been working on for a couple weeks, and it turned out really good. I don't think I can share right now, but it's essentially using, what's cool is it's using all this stuff from our live chat. So all those animation cycles I'm using in this project, and I just recycle it and reuse it on different characters. And it works out really well. So that's really the cool thing about these live streams for me, is that it kind of forces me into doing these animation cycles that I can use in the project, which is something that I would do it, but I wouldn't do it to the extent or maybe the level that I'm doing it here with you guys. So it's cool. Sorry, I can't show it to you, but whenever it goes live on YouTube, I'll send you guys links, and you can check out kind of the process, or you can check out the project, and then maybe you'll recognize some of the animation cycles that we did, and you'll be like, hey, I was there for that live stream or whatnot. Hello, Hazel. Thank you. So yeah, let's I don't know. As far as animation cycles go, let's see. Hazel, do you have any suggestions as far as animation cycles? Like, what's a performance we could do, something that this character could act out? You're basically the only one in here, so you get first pick. And then we can kind of go from there. Yeah, let me think. So typically, like, what I like to do is keep something generic enough to where I can like use it on multiple characters, so that it's not so unique that it becomes concrete to this one character. Like, if you do something that's so outrageous that it just can't be reused, it would be fun. Maybe in the future we could do that once I start getting more of these actions created. Then we can really have fun with it and do some stuff that's just out there and wild. there's really no wrong answer at this point. So we've done, let's think through this. Maybe we can wave and then turn to the right to walk so we can discover how to take something from 2D to a 3D action. Okay, so you're saying having our character center frame, doing some kind of gesture to somebody, and then going to meet that person like, oh, hey, it's so-and-so. Let me go over there. So we'll do a walk cycle. And you said to the right. Would that be characters right? Characters right. Screen left. Is that back? Let me see, which way is this? I can't tell. Like, that's good. Actually, yeah, I don't have enough walk cycles done yet. That's a great idea. I've only done like one. Oh, wait. Yeah, I haven't really done many walk cycles with this character yet. I've done one, but it was more of like a sneaking kind of walk, which actually turned out pretty cool. And I like the rig for this purpose. You're on the right side of the video right now, so that direction. So yeah, it would be this way. I'm pointing in the right direction, right? Cool. Yeah, I like that. I like the idea, because we can also, what's cool is we can use that wave and we can recycle that wave anywhere we want. That can become its own action. And then we can create a turn and walk action. So we can create two actions out of this one performance, which is pretty cool. So I like it. Let's just jump right into it. So if you've just joined us and you're wondering what's going on, we're going to do an animation action for Moho. We're going to do a walk cycle. So it's going to start off with a wave. Maybe he'll see somebody off to his what is that? Oh my gosh, his right, and then he'll turn, wave, and then walk off. So we're going to work on two things. One, the wave, and then secondly, the walk cycle. Now there's two ways to do a walk cycle. One, you can do a stationary walk cycle where their feet are sliding beneath them, and then you just animate that composition or like that layer to the direction you need. Or you can actually move your character through the stage, and then so their feet are actually planted. What I'll probably do for this one is I'll probably do a true walk cycle to where he's actually moving across the frame. Just because I don't want his feet to slide. I'm guilty of this because I do it all the time where my character's feet are sliding because I do those stationary walk cycles. But if I have the opportunity to not do that and their feet are perfectly planted on the ground, I'm going to take that opportunity. So let's do that because I'm a stickler for sliding feet. I watch for it all the time. Any show that I watch, for some reason, my eyes go straight to the feet. If those feet are in the shot and they're walking, I'm looking at those feet, waiting for them to mess up. Is there any sliding in there? And if there is, I'm like, oh, come on, guys. Seriously. Like, you got a big budget. Plant the feet. All right, let's get into it. Enough talking. Let's hide that. So the first thing we'll do is let's get him a better expression, because right now he looks a little zombified. I don't even know. Yeah, walk cycles are tricky. What's up, Arthur? Yeah, let's figure out this guy's facial expression. Let's just get him a little bit more what's the word? Relaxed. Let's just have him relaxed. I'm going to put a little smile. I can demonstrate the rig a little bit too if you haven't seen it. So we can do some smiles, some frowns. We'll put him in a smile. Maybe not too happy. His friend hasn't showed up yet, so we'll just... I'll tilt the mouth. I always like having the mouth to the side. It just adds more character to the character. More character to the character. All right. Maybe we'll put the head down a little bit. And I'll even crank it to his left. Pose him around a little bit. Should we turn the body? Yeah, we'll turn the body so we can give a better gesture when he turns. Oh, hey. Okay, so this is why I haven't done many walk cycles. This is kind of a bummer. So I actually haven't figured out a good solution for this yet. I know that there's ways you can do this. You can see how I have his feet splayed sideways. There's not a great way to flip the foot. You can do it before you start animating, I think. Let me see. Actually, let me try this out because this will be good to know. So if I have his foot scaled this way, so what we'll do is I'm gonna keyframe all the scales and rotation. Oh wait, this isn't, that's not the foot I want to change. Never mind. So what ends up happening, well, I do want to get, so I do want to be able to get a walk cycle eventually. So I do have to figure this out. And yeah, at some point I'm going to have to figure out how do I get this character's feet to flip from side to side. Because I wish it was just as easy as, you know, scaling the layer left and right. And you can scale the layer, but the controls, they don't have the flexibility that I currently have. And I love the flexibility that I get with these controls because it functions a lot more like a 3D rig, right? Because you have the heel, the toe bend, and then the roll. But when you flip it, the controls, they just don't work. But going to Arthur's question real quick. So with the mouth controls, if I was going to animate lip sync, you just kind of sound it out. So like if I was going to do an ooh sound where my lips have to go together, I'm going to scrunch the width in, and then I'll probably, so you'll just have to go to more of a neutral, and then you can kind of do it like that. So this is really as tight as I can get it. Now, if I was to have rigged it a little bit, not better, but a little differently, I could get a tighter ooh. But this works for me. I think it's fine. And then if I was going to do a different mouth shape, like an ah, that'd be something like this. And then I'd probably lower these down. You can change the width here. So you just kind of find that shape you need. And maybe like an S. That would be teeth together. And you can make it more neutral. So I have essentially, there's 3 controls for the mouth. And you can read them right there, actually. So it says one is the width, and that kind of changes, you know, how wide it goes. One's open and closed, and one is happy and sad. And so all 3 of those manipulate the way that the mouth looks, and you just kind of like find which one works for you. And then eventually, if you do only want to get, you know, like 5 mouth shapes, you could set up a master control so that as you pinpoint what shape you want, all the controls will move to that shape as you move the one control. But for now, I like the flexibility of being able to pick whatever shape I want. All right, back to the foot. Now I'm trying something with the foot, and it very well might not work. But I'm willing to take that risk. Scales. Actually, maybe just rotation. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm just keyframing everything in its original state. And then I'm going to grab the foot. And I'm going to keyframe the scale of this. There we go. 100%. And then I'll come forward to this one, and I'll rotate it negative. Whoops. Oh, no. Oh, that's the problem. Okay. So all of this will get, whoops. We'll get a keyframe. Here, now let's try going negative. There we go. I'm going to change that position. Oh, interesting. Why is that happening? Well, people, we seem to have broken it. Don't really know what to make of this, why it's happened. And maybe I just completely did it wrong. Let's try that. I'm going to undo this. Yeah, with like sliders or even joysticks and sliders or joysticks, you kind of are limited to you know, a few poses, whereas this one you can blend. Sliders you could actually blend different mouth shapes. I like this form of mouth expression a lot better. Oh, also I have this one here I didn't mention. So there is another one called corners. Let me show you what that one does. So if you, let's see here, open the mouth and then lower the corners. So I can either have a sharp corner to it, or I can round out the edges. But as you round it out, you'll see he can't really close his mouth anymore. So the corners stay open. Which could be what you want, you know, for some shapes. All right, let's see what we can do. All right, now we got the foot turning. So now I just got to turn around this rig. How do I want to do this? We'll go ahead and pull this over here, rotate this back down. And again, I don't know if this is going to work. I kind of suspect it won't because it's just me. Okay. Oh, maybe I can scale this one. If I scale this, oh, that's the length. Ay, ay, ay. All right, let me redo this. So we'll scale this one in this direction, move it over to the heel, and this comes up, and this is getting confusing. And this comes this way. And then this one comes here. And we're almost done. Okay. Oh, man. All right. I'm just going to start it from the get-go. We're going to be in this position here. I can't seem to figure out why or how to do this, so I'm not going to do it. It will start off this way. Okay. just going to start off in that direction. Then next what I need to do is switch these legs around. So these need to come above. That one, he's going to look funky, which is kind of a bummer, but that's okay, as long as it works. I'm just going to need to pose him out a little bit differently. But you can see that even now that I've flipped the rig around, you know, it still works. It rotates. I'm going to need to flip his knee in the opposite direction. There we go. Cool. So the foot's not great. Looks like his leg is broken backwards or something. That's okay. All right, so let's get into actually animating this guy. I've spent way too long trying to figure out this foot thing. Sorry, that's something I should have done on my own time. But now you get to see the process. You saw how the sausage was made. All right, let's make him a little bit more comfortable in his own body. Let's relax him a bit. Okay, I'm gonna ground. So if I was gonna do this shot and his feet were looking like that, what I would end up doing is just cropping out his feet. But because I want to stay true to keeping his feet planted as he walks, I'm going to show you that process. Maybe I can adjust this foot a little bit to make it look not so odd. Right now it looks like he has two right feet, or I guess two left feet. So let's do this. Let's, first of all, we'll put this thing very back. Next, we'll adjust some of these points. So I think that these straps will come backwards quite a bit. We have to give a little foreshortening to it. We could even maybe pull this down like so. Okay. I'll pull this one forward. There we go. Then pull this one down. There we go. Pull this strap to there. Okay. Now, I don't know if I'm breaking this rig by doing this or not, but we'll find out. Okay. That kind of looks better, right? Better than it did. Maybe we can keep pulling this toe back a little. Maybe we can scrunch this up even some more. Let's see if we can hide that little thing. Does that look right? This is supposed to be his big toe. But I think, you know what, maybe the other way. Let's try it the other way. I'll pull this down and then I'll hide maybe that side. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows anymore? And then I lose that section. All right, that looks good enough. Good enough to me. All right, cool. Just need to move that foot back a little bit. Get him a little more balanced. So he feels kind of off balance. There we go. Let's see if these controls still work. That one works good. That one still works. That works. These are good enough. Okay, so now we have a little bit better looking feet. Not perfect, but they're better. Okay, now we got to pose his face a little bit less neutral. Somehow I lost that. We'll keep him happy. Let's tilt his mouth. We'll do it this way. Let's give him something to look at. I don't know. Maybe off in that direction. Sure, we'll turn him over here. If I turn my character's head like this way, his mouth would tilt that direction. And if I turn it that way, his mouth would tilt that direction. It just frames up the mouth a little bit better. And it keeps it inside of his face. So yeah, let's do this. We'll start off here. And then maybe I'll add some keyframes across the board. Oops. Let's go ahead and we'll add a keyframe. Oops. Add a keyframe. Add a keyframe. And we're going to this is just going to add a hold to our character so that the first 8 frames or 7 frames is he's not doing anything. And then we can have him start to come to life. He'll blink. Maybe he'll turn his head a little bit. So let's go here. We'll scrunch his eyes in. Eyebrows will kind of crunch a little bit. And then his eyes will open again. And eyebrows will come up. So we have a blink. Easy, right? I'm going to select all these and make them smooth. Okay. We could probably even have a little bit of a head move here, so he could maybe lift his head up a bit, come out a little more. Just to give the illusion that he's looking at something. Maybe eyes can come up a little bit and over. Do a little eye shift here. Just something subtle. We could even do a very subtle shift in his torso and maybe neck. Just to give the idea that he's, looking off at something. And then this is where something's going to catch his eye, and he's going to look, and then see his friend, and then he'll wave. And then once he waves, he'll take off to go meet. And that'll be our walk cycle. So then right here, we'll add a keyframe. Let's make sure everything's smooth. Now we'll turn his head back. Now his head can come to the other side. We'll do a blink in there too. So at this point, maybe the head will come down. Eyes will blink, eyebrows come down. Eyes will open, eyebrows come up. We have a head move and a blink. Right, and here his eyes are going to shift. We'll go forward like 2 frames. His eyes will come over. Maybe up a bit. And then they'll quickly come down and over. And this is where he's going to see. He'll get excited. You know, a quick little, huh? And then he's going to jump into his walk. All right, so we got a movement there. So maybe if we do a movement back, maybe we should do a movement forward. So right here, let's do a very subtle movement. It doesn't have to be much. We're just trying to adjust the weight so that he feels like, you know, he's shifting his weight left to right. All right, we can even watch it. Huh. Was his head really that far turned when I started? I thought it was more central. I guess it was turned. Doesn't feel like I moved it very far. So maybe what I'll do is turn it back to front, maybe? Because it doesn't feel very, you know, it doesn't feel like he's looking at anything. Okay. So that's looking good. It's got a little playfulness to it. We could even try changing his facial expressions a little bit. So like as he turns here, maybe this comes up. Smooth. Is this how we want to do it? So maybe this will come up. Thank you, Hazel. So that'll come up. Or maybe even we'll switch his eyebrows and we'll give him a little bit of a, huh? You know, just to give a little character. We're just having fun with it. So that eyebrow's coming up. Then we'll shift it right here. Maybe we can even go to the other direction. Here it comes. And then we'll do our kind of our big take, you know, because our friend's here. I didn't know you were coming. That's what he's going to say. So with our eyelids, because one is adjusting the way that they squish together and another one is adjusting the lower lids, we have to cancel out the lower lid right here. So as the eyes come to blink right here, the lower lid needs to go negative. And then here we can pull it back up. We'll smooth this out. All right. And then right here, we're going to do a quick kind of like double take. So we're going to blink. We're going to do a quick blink. Oops. So this will crunch down. This will go back. We'll zero these out. I don't want to, I guess we'll do that. Yeah, we'll have it come down like that. Let's smooth all this out. And we're going to change. We're going to do like a head shake. Like what? You know? So he's going to turn. It's going to very softly smooth out. And the whole time that head turn is happening, we're going to do a take down. So it's going to go, oops, it's going to go down. And then it's going to come up. Cool. So we'll see how that looks. But we also have to open his eyes. So we'll come here and open the eyes wide. Eyebrows will come straight up. We're also going to be changing that mouth quite a bit. So as he does this, we'll have his mouth close. That's fine. And then it'll open when we get here. Let's go ahead and open. I want to keep him happy. Let's change the tilt to this side. Let's change the corners up. All right, so there's the kind of double take. It's very sharp, but I like it. I feel like it's not too slow. I like reactions that are very snappy. So then another way to sell that kind of double take reaction, we'll throw his arms up like, oh, you know, then he'll wave, and then we'll be on our way. Let's go ahead and smooth all this stuff out. Okay, so as the double take is about to hit, go ahead and let's So right here, we're going to key all this stuff. Put a keyframe for the joints, neck, head, and body. I'm going to add it for the scale, because what we're going to do is we're going to build some anticipation here. So this is where it's going to be so quick, but it's going to happen because it makes it just feel that much more energetic. Is right before he puts his arms out, he's going to take a quick scrunch down. He's building that tension. So it's quick and then an explosion. So that'll probably be, we might be able to get away with 3 frames. 2 might be more appropriate, but let's go for 3. So we'll scrunch the body down, scrunch the neck. It'll probably rotate downward, everything. The body will come down just a little bit. We'll push these hips forward. Arms will come kind of forward a bit. And if I had it, I would give him some fists. I don't know why I don't have fists yet. Could be. Yes, maybe he saw $5 and he's like, oh, sweet. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you don't react that way when you see a friend. Maybe this is a really old friend who happens to be waving $5 in the air, and he's like, yes. Let's just keep going with it. If it's too much, we can always soften it later. All right, and then right here, we'll pump him back up. We'll come up. His hips will rotate back into place. We'll stretch him. We might even overstretch him. And this arm will come out. This one will come out. And maybe we'll even pull this foot back. Back, and then rotate this roll. That might be too much. I don't know. We'll find out. But either way, it's got to be people are trying to sell us useless courses all day, every day, and it's just beyond refreshing that someone is legit just looking to spread knowledge. Thanks, Danny. I appreciate that. Just to be completely clear, I have sold many useless tutorials, but I like this. I like this way of spreading knowledge. That's a good way of putting it. It's just fun to be in here, like hanging out with you guys. You know what I mean? All right, let's get a look at this reaction. That might not be working. Maybe it's not quick enough. Okay. Instead of his arms going out, maybe I'll have him just kind of pop up like, And Hazel, let me know. Is it? I can't remember. Did the original thing, was that he was seeing somebody he knew, or was this just my mind going to that? I remember you said wave and then walk. I can't remember. But does it look like he's seeing a friend, or is it more of a $5 bill? Okay. I'm just going to actually, yeah, I'm going to pull these arms up like this. What would I do with this one? Pull like this? That looks odd. What's cool is I can adjust the angle of this arm to hopefully give it a little bit more of like a foreshortening look. So we can start to adjust these guys. Let's see if we can change this hand a bit. Does that hand work too? No, that doesn't work. Wait, is that the one I just had? Oh yeah, I have two of them. All right. Maybe I'll just do something like this. Yeah, we'll do that one. Sure, that looks good. Okay, so you can see my hands are shifting. That looks better. Arms are coming up. So what I got to do is on these hands, there is, it'll probably shift right here. So these need to be a step. Same with this one. We'll make it a step. And I got to key this thing. So let me grab that. There we go. Looking good. Next, what we'll do, put these both at step. And remember, step is essentially, it's the equivalent to a hold in After Effects. All right. We got a nice little gesture going on there. I don't know if it's appropriate for the occasion, but I hope that when we get into the wave, we'll show his excitement and it will sell the idea that he has seen someone he knows and now he's just exuberant and bursting out with joy to be seeing this person. Maybe it's someone he's admired for a very long time. Maybe it's a celebrity. Maybe it's, could be anybody. This foot, you can see it's breaking there. I don't even care. I don't care. Let it break. I'm going to make this foot move maybe a little bit quicker. Let's have a look-see. How many frames is it? 1, 2, 3. 3 frames. I like it. Thanks. Thanks, Arthur. Yeah. I thought it was a nice touch too. There's something you have to always be aware of. And I know it's easier said than done, but a lot of times, I know he probably didn't need it, but a lot of times you have to be mindful of your character's weight. And even if they're doing a small, just very small, subtle movement, even the slightest position left or right is going to need a counterbalance to hold their body in position. And so if he's leaning forward just a little bit, he's going to need a foot to either go back Or even in this case, it could have, if he took a bigger step forward, then the front foot would have gone. But that foot just kind of builds to that explosive feeling. One thing I might do is here with this foot roll, I might push it back and see if maybe on his upward move, the foot will come up with it. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. So it comes down, and then the foot is going to roll upward with that body movement. That might work. Let's check out this forward rotation of his body. I think I'm going to maybe rotate him forward a little bit more, rotate these hips back a bit, just to give a nicer line of action. It's not super exaggerated, which I guess is kind of what we're going for. Not super exaggerated. Oh wait, you don't want to do that. Let's go smooth. Smooth. The bummer is it keeps putting on these like linear movements, and I wish they were smooth. So if I was to just select the entire rig and go smooth, it works. It just takes out the step in the hand, which is a bummer. So I'll go back at the end and fix the hands. So as we preview it, you're going to see the hands like shifting a lot. Just ignore it. Don't even worry about it. All right, that's looking good. I like it. So then we will now jump straight into the wave. All right. Now let's go straight into the wave. He can almost like come up with and then down and into his wave, right? I want it to be snappy. I don't want it to feel like it's I don't want there to be too many pauses, because then you lose that energy. You lose the flow. Okay, so as he comes up here, I'm just going to have him dip down again. Maybe even come back a little bit. So he's going up, down, and then he'll do his full kind of wave. So right here, we'll scrunch his body down, maybe rotate it forward, hips will come forward, head down. And we'll see how it does. Obviously, if there's something wrong with the movement, we'll fix it, but here he goes, and then he'll come up into the wave. So in this one, he'll come forward, maybe quite a bit, and maybe even at this point, his foot will step. Then we'll rotate these hips. He'll come forward like this. We'll scale him up. 107 is a little too big. I think we could stretch him out to 101. And then as far as hands that wave, I like to put the arm furthest away from the camera up as the one waving, because it doesn't obstruct the face of our character. We want to keep nice, clean silhouettes, visibility of the character. I could probably wave this arm, but if there's any issues with the rigging, maybe because I didn't do a good job, you can see how it kind of breaks here at the shoulder. and a little bit here at the armpit. So I don't want to, I don't know, maybe I don't want to spend too much time showing you guys all my flaws. So I'll just hide it with this arm back here. Oh, that's like that. That's like that because of this thing. Or it's like that because I just have not rigged it well. I think we're going to go with I haven't rigged it well. So I could do like this. That is odd, though, that this arm is breaking, but this one is not. Huh. You know what? Maybe I will do the front arm then, because it looks better. I don't want to take time to fix my mistakes. Because that will be wasting your time. So it comes up, down, and into the wave. All right, we're going to smooth this out. And we'll have him step here too. So he'll go up, down, and then right here we'll have him start to step a little bit. So we'll key the movement there. Rotations, rotation, rotation. Cool. So foot will rotate up for the step, maybe slightly up this way. Here it comes. And then right here, we'll move the foot up. And then we could probably, let's see here, maybe reset these. Okay, so we don't want it to move just yet with this guy. I'm going to hold off here. Keep holding it. There we go. We'll pull these over here. The step might be too slow. But let's just see. We'll put the foot back down over here, and your rotation will be zeroed. And actually, I don't even think I like that step. I don't like that step at all. Let's just get rid of it. See you, dude. All right, let's focus more on the wave. I don't know why I'm focusing on his feet. Okay, so this arm, instead of coming around like a windmill, we're just going to have it come straight up in front of his body. So I'm going to put this down. We are going to get rid of that. So it comes up. Maybe the arm will drop just a little bit. Drop it. Drops down, and then it's going to shoot up. Okay, so this elbow will come up here. Forearm will crunch in this way. Hand will stay like that, maybe. And this is going to pass through here. Maybe it's a force of habit. I'm not sure. But working with Duick for so long, I always got to the point, because you know how it flips. You have to find the perfect spot to where you go from a left orientation to a right orientation. And I'd always find right here where it's about to break, keyframe it, and then do my flip so that I could go up. So maybe it's a force of habit that I I'm keyframing it right here. I really don't think I need to because this is FK. It's the way that I'm functioning with it. It'll go right through and get to that perfect arc. But for whatever reason, I'm going to do this and then continue my motion upward. And this arm will come up. This hand will come up like this. And we're going to have a, a change in our hand. So let's see which hand looks the best. Probably that one. So let's go with that. Okay, we're going to add a little more speed to this arm move. Let's grab all this stuff, pump it into right here. There we go. And then we'll start waving. Let's see what we got. So I feel like there's a great energy that happens when he does his double take. When the arm comes up, it feels a little slow. So it loses that energy. It goes from to hi. I want to keep that energy. We have to match that double take with the explosion of the arm. Okay, he's like a puppy dog. He can't contain his excitement. More urgent expression, like he's late for the bus. Yeah. So let's keep it. I'm going to speed up that movement. I've still got all his arm layers or arm bones selected. So what I'm going to do is just move them over. Let's see how many frames we have. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it's 6 frames total. So let's scrunch it in. Maybe we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 frames? Let's see how 4 frames looks. Maybe we can even... All right, you know what? What is this one? That's probably his hand position, I bet. Yeah. All right, I'm going to pull this in. We'll put it here. What is that one? I'm just going to delete that. Oh, well. I'm going to pull in this movement up as well over here. So let's just see how this looks. I got to change hand movement back because I deleted it. There we go. All right, let's see how that feels. Does he feel more explosive? That feels better. The salute expression. Yeah, what was last week? So we did Rage the week before. Oh yeah, last week was the bird poop on his head. You're right, he did like the same thing. He's just kind of looking around. And then he looks up, right? So yeah, this one is, he sees his friend and he's like, oh, hi, there you are. And what's kind of cool is that if we realize that it's just moving too quick and maybe it's a little too energetic, we can always slow down this whole section right here. Let's just see how that looks if we slow it down into a more subdued, not so much like you're seeing a friend you haven't seen in a long time, but more of like, oh, hey, There's my boss. Gotta look like I like to see him. You can slow it down a little bit so it's not so, slappy. The properties are kind of confusing in Moho, like the scale rotation. Yeah, the way that Moho, once you get used to Moho, it's not as confusing as you think it is. Definitely coming from After Effects into Moho, everything's confusing. It's like a completely different language. I've said this so many times. It's not at all the same. So you're going to jump into this and be like, what the heck am I looking at? Like, you're going to feel like you made a horrible mistake. But once you get used to understanding it, I think that it, because of the whole rigging system, it flows a lot more like a 3D program, because you've got all your bones and they manipulate all these things. So essentially, you're animating bones, and the bones, they either rotate, in X and Y, or you can scale the bone. So there's 3 controllers, or there's 3 manipulation points for every bone. And that is, let me see if I can just, there is the transform, which is your movement up, left, down, right, whatever. And that's indicated by that cross section. Then there is the rotation, and that's just grabbing anywhere on the bone. Obviously, you can rotate it at the point that it's set to. And then the last one is the scale option. Now, scaling does get funky, because it depends on what you have set up to it and how it's set up. So you can see it's just stretching it right now. It's not actually scaling the hand bigger. It's just stretching it along with the bone. And that's not something that I haven't really dove into understanding how I would scale a head. Like, let's say that I wanted the head to be just bigger. Right now, all I can really do is scale it upward. Which is not ideal. I could, however, come in here and manipulate the overall layer, which is possibly what you need to do. And you could scale that head up as big as you want. And he'd be like, oh, doing his thing. It's a real bobblehead. I love that. Look at that. So yeah, scaling, I don't have a great option or a great understanding of it. And then motion blur, I believe there is motion blur. Let's look. Yeah, motion blur. Cool. So you just turn this button on, and then you can pick all that stuff. I haven't used motion blur yet, so I'm not confident in understanding it. I've never even looked at it, actually. All right, so we have the slowed down version. I'm going to go back to the sped up version and undo all that. Now that I'm seeing that spinning wheel of death, don't forget, you got to save your files. I haven't saved it yet. That's always one of those pucker moments when you go, oh no, it's thinking. The computer's thinking, I haven't saved it. Oh, crap. All right, I'm just going to save it. I'm just going to save it on the actual file that it's on. Boom. All right, where were we? We have a quick jump to wave. His hand is not in the position it needs to be in. So let's go ahead and change that. I always grab the wrong one. There we go. And now we're going to do our wave. Now, if you are watching and you see not the hands, but like the arms are breaking apart from the rig, meaning that they're not staying with the bones, that's because I have dynamics applied to the angle of the wrist and the position of the wrist. So that as our character moves, there's actually physics being applied to the limbs so that if the arm comes up, it doesn't do a clean stop, but it actually follows through. And I don't animate that. That's just part of the computer. It's processing, the speed, inertia, how springy the arm is, the kind of dampening there is. So the arm comes up. So let's see. Here, I'll lower this arm down too. Put this back. Where do I want this arm to go? So up, down. Maybe I'll pull this arm real tight up here. This can come back. We'll change this hand. And again, I would make this a fist if I could. I just don't have a fist created yet. You can see the shoulders breaking. That's a bummer, but what are you going to do? I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Should he have a hold right here? Maybe at least for a couple frames. It does feel like he's bouncing too much into his wave. So maybe we'll have a second here to hold, and he's maybe thinking about like, oh, that's my best friend. So here's what we'll do. We'll make sure that there's a keyframe across the board right here. Then what we'll do is we'll move these forward one frame. I'm going to copy and paste all this stuff. We'll pull it out, I don't know, maybe just like 3 or 4 frames. Just to give that breath, just that little bit of pause so the viewer can see what's happening and be ready for the next step. Yeah, that feels better. It's better timing. It's not so like rushed. I love that I'll talk myself into something as I'm going, like, oh, it's got to be this way. It's got to be that way. And then I do it and I'm like, no, it actually needs to be this way. It's got to be that way. And then you change it. I'm the best at convincing myself to do the wrong thing. So we'll put a little pause in there. We could probably even go bigger if we wanted. Yeah, why not? Looks good. You can see it. You see how it's the keyframes end here, but there's still follow through in the hands. And there's even follow through. Oops. There should be, let me look at this. There's a scale and maybe a rotation on here. Yeah, it's on too. Angle. So the same thing happens to the torso as it moves. It continues to rotate. All right. So now we've got this wave. Let's have his arm, go back and forth a couple times. Maybe like 2 seconds or a second. So it's going to come up, out, and we'll move it forward a bit, just like so. And then we'll move it back a bit, like so. And there you got it. The facts of life. back. And then we'll copy these keyframes here. Actually, let's grab this stuff. Copy and paste. So now we have our rotation. And we'll just let that go on for like a second or so. It might get super jiggly because remember, I've got those dynamics on. So it might be like a very floppy wrist. But that's okay because we can turn off the dynamics at any point. So let's have a look at this Jello wrist. It's actually not jello-y, but it's kind of canceling out that movement. But even still, let's do this. So whenever you think about physics of a character, there's always going to be a driving factor. And usually the driving factor is where the power comes from. And it usually starts at the base of a limb or your torso or whatever it might be. Whatever is attached to the body is going to be usually the driving force. So in this instance, we'll say that the shoulder is the driving force. The elbow is a secondary action, and then the wrist is also a secondary action of the shoulder. So as the arm rotates, there's going to be a delay in the elbow. So the arm's going to come up, the elbow will extend, and then it will wrap over the head just like so. And the wrist will do the same thing offset. So with that in mind, I'm going to select my forearm, all those rotation points, and I'm going to move them over just 2 frames. 1, 2. Then I'm going to grab my hand or my wrist control, grab all those rotation points, and we're going to move them over 4 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now that's going to give us a nice overlapping action. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. It might look a little strange. Let me do this. I'm going to turn off bone dynamics for both the wrist controls, and we'll just see how it looks on its own with no dynamics. That didn't look good. I'll tell you that right now. It didn't look good. So the question is, why isn't it looking good? So maybe it's not animating enough. Maybe it's not offset enough. So let's try it. Let's push these 2 more frames. And then we'll push these 2 more frames. It still doesn't look good. Why on earth do you look like this? All right, let's try this over again. Maybe my original animation wasn't right. So if the arm comes up and over, maybe what I need to do so if I want to reshape any part of the character, I need to create an action. So are you saying like if you want to reshape like his clothes or a joint or something like that, what you can do is you can actually manipulate the shape layer. So like here I can do this to his stuff and you'll see it actually animates over time. So you could do that right on top of the character and he functions perfectly. So even with the shoulder, how it's breaking here, if I'm like, oh man, that's not right, I can do a quick fix and just pull that shoulder in.
Bye, Daddy. I don't need this tied right now, though.
Okay, cool.
We're going to do karate, but remember how they're showing a badge on and my name on?
That's right.
It's showing my name, I think, on the front and inside on the back flap.
Whoa.
Don't you know those little tags. There's probably a little space for it, so people can sew the name on.
Yeah. You excited?
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't wait to go.
It's gonna be awesome.
My belt.
Yeah, you got your orange belt.
You're finally able to actually use it.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys heading out right now?
Let me ask Mama.
Sorry about that. I will be interrupted again. Just you wait. Here it comes. Okay.
Now. You're going to walk me.
You want me to walk you? All right. Cool. I'll be right back.
Daddy, you're going to walk me. Daddy,
What's up, buddy? Hi, Isley.
no.
All right, I'm back. Sorry. Karate Mondays. Okay. Let's get back into this action. Oh, yeah, the arm. I don't know what's going on with this arm. So let's have a look. Okay. So he comes up. He's going to rotate forward. I'm just going to exaggerate it a little bit more. Maybe that's my problem. I'll open this up. And then right here, we will be pasting these keyframes. So let's do that. That. And that. Make sure that these are smooth. All right, now let's try offsetting them. I really hope this works. 1, 2, 3. Let's try 3. This one will be 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a little bit better. Check it out. Sure, why not? Good enough, right? So he's going to do his wave. And then right here, what we'll have him do is we'll have him kind of like step back. He's going to do the anticipation for his walk. He's going to take a step forward. So it's going to be almost like a, kind of a walk. I want to be playful. Remember, we got to make it appealing. So we will have a nice little movement there for the walk, and then we'll just continue them off screen. It's going to be perfect. I do want to get rid of this animation, or this little dropping down of his, I don't know what you call this thing, a skirt. I made it, I should know. All right. So let's go ahead. We've got him waving here. Is there anything I need to do with his body while he's waving? So he comes up, he waves. Right before he goes into his little action, we'll have him do a blink as he's starting to kind of like come through. So right here at 4 seconds, what we're going to do is add a keyframe across the board. So we're going to have him kind of drop down. And I'll adjust his arm later. I'm not too sure what's going to happen to it, but we'll drop him down. Maybe rotate him this way a bit. Rotate his hips maybe forward. We'll scrunch him down a bit. Scrunch his head down a bit. All right, so then this head will come down too. Maybe we'll go forward just a little bit. All right, so he's waving. He's going to drop down. And then right here, he's going to pop back up. So this is going to be the anticipation or the wind up for our movement. And we want to get his weight onto his back foot because he's putting his weight on his back foot so that he can take a step with his front foot. So if it's not evenly balanced, then it will not look right. So that means that he would have to be rotated this way, maybe his hips in this direction. It's still not great. I want that leg to be almost straight. And this would come back in this way, and then everything will extend upward. Whoa, 107? No thanks. Didn't I scrunch you down? Yeah. All right, so he comes down, and then he goes up. What's your neck at? 104? Oops. We'll keep it there. Head can come back, neck can come back. I'll figure out the arms later, like I said. So there we go. So he comes down and back. Okay. So it feels a little off. And I think because right here, he needs to be a little bit more forward, right? He's kind of pulling his weight backward. So we'll pull this back like so. There we go. And then we can play around with offsetting some of the rotations a little bit. It'll be more popular if they add AI file support. Yeah. Moho is not the best with using Adobe Illustrator. They just don't communicate well, or even at all to some extent. I've heard that they've fixed the problem, but I haven't seen it. So I'm not quite sure what to make of that. All right, I'm going to extend this out. Whoops. To here. Let's see if that's any better. It's still, actually, that's probably too slow. Never mind. I do want them to be smooth, though. Okay. So now let's play around with some of this head turn up and down. You can see that the dynamics on his neck are kind of tweaking him out a bit. So right here, I'm going to animate his foot coming up. So I'm going to put some keyframes in here. Not entirely sure what I'm going to be animating, so I'll just put a keyframe on everything. And then right here, maybe the foot will rotate like this. And then the foot will maybe like snap up and out. Okay. Oops. What is that? Oh, I animated the wrong thing. How did that happen? And again. Okay. So this movement here is a little, it's fine. I think the foot's a little too slow. Okay, this rotation will not happen there. So go foot and then out. There we go. So let's make sure that everything in this foot is smooth. Give us the nicest movement possible. All right. So he's coming back. I think I'll do like a slow lean back and then a slow lean forward. So let's try this. Just see how it looks. So I'm going to continue his movement backward a little bit. So I'll rotate it that way. And then backward and up. I'll smooth it out. So he holds, he keeps going. He's stretching a little bit. Maybe I'll even stretch his torso just a little bit. Neck a little bit. Head will come back. Everything's just slightly coming back. Head will come up. Maybe turn forward a bit. Okay. So we'll grab all these, smooth them out. And it's just adding to that anticipation of when he comes in and he's going to start walking. Okay. I like it. One other thing that's going to keep moving will be his foot. His foot will keep going upward. And maybe rotating it. Oops. Up just a little bit. So let's smooth that out. Oops. All right, and now we're ready for him to come down and take a step. Ooh, now that I'm thinking about it too, we can actually, let's maybe turn his body forward a little bit. Just kind of give that extension, like he's opening up his shoulders. And maybe even here, he'll close his shoulders a bit as he's moving backwards. Closes and then open. It's like so subtle you don't even see it, but I know it's there. It just, yeah, actually you do see it. It gives a nice energy and nice weight to his body. And with that in mind, maybe what we can do is I'm not gonna worry about it. Never mind. Okay. So what do we want to do? So right here, we'll keep the arm up. I actually like how that's holding. And then right here, we'll start with our step downward. So right now we have a move up, and then we'll have a move down. And this will be our first step. So we'll rotate his hips. We'll reset the angle. So we're starting with a good base point. He'll come forward. And we'll do a full step. That way we'll get a nice place to start for the walk cycle, and we can go from there. So we'll pull him forward. Maybe we'll even rotate his body forward a little too. Go like this, and then back. Head will be forward. Head will turn this direction. You see his sideburn isn't working. I think I can fix that. All right, and then we'll do body turn, rotate this way. And then by this point, the foot will be down on the ground and forward. We'll just reset that. Reset all of these. Something is off. It's this one, isn't it? All right. So there's our first step. That actually might be a little too far. So it comes up, and then boom. So I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Okay. So what's happening here that makes it not feel super weighty? And really, it could just be that nothing is smoothed out yet. It's all linear. Okay. Maybe another thing is some of the trajectory of these things. So maybe we'll pull it back and down like that. Maybe he'll keep rotated behind him just a little bit so that as he's moving forward, you know, it's his hips that are kind of dragging his body. We'll find out. Yeah, that looks a little better. I feel like this foot, something's off with the foot. So maybe what we can do is pull it out a bit, rotate it up. And we'll have it snap closed. So we'll keep it up here and then a punch down. Poof. That's moving weird. It kind of looks like he's being pushed. Not quite what I'm going for. Okay, I am going to take away this position. That's the rotation. I'm going to take away this position. Maybe that'll help a little bit. Or maybe not. Maybe that was fine. It just needed to be a little bit of a different arc. Okay. All right, I can live with that. Let's figure out the body now. Stretches out. If I play Fortnite, you will give me $10,000. I've never played Fortnite, actually. It's a very generous offer. I appreciate it. But I don't trust you. All right, let's have a look here. What's going on? So he comes down. I think we want the down position to be over here somewhere. So if he's stepping with his right foot, that means that his left arm will be forward and his right arm will be back. So I'm going to reset some of the positions there. I'll change this hand out too. That's a good one. And then we'll rotate this arm down like this. And then this arm like that. We'll change up this hand a bit. The back of the hand. Right there. Cool. So we're going to hold this pose upward for a little bit. Let's hold it to, I don't know, maybe here. All right, maybe we'll move it forward a bit. We'll smooth it out. Okay. We are getting there. Let's see. I feel like it's stomping a little bit too hard. So let's move. Let's go ahead and take all these keyframes here at the end, which are this hit here. Maybe we'll pull it out a little bit, a few frames. That might not be what we want. So what is... I feel... Okay, maybe it's this foot. Let's go ahead and grab all this stuff and make sure that it's hitting at the right time. Because we want that weight to feel like it's crushing. Boom. Okay, we don't want it to extend like that. But we also don't want it to pop. So maybe, there we go. Now let's try this, let's try this rotation. I want to offset it so that when it's here, or maybe here even, it will be up and then it will come down. We'll smooth it out. Okay, so let's do that and then we'll get right into the walk. Let's just get going. So if we think, if on average a walk cycle takes about 1 second to complete a cycle, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. So we're just going to time it out. Luckily, we have right here 5 seconds is where we kind of start. It's perfect. So we're just going to do a walk cycle from 5 seconds to 6 seconds, which means that by the time we get to 6 seconds, his position or his pose will be the same as it was when we started at 5. So let's just do that. And kind of the way that I like to process these things first is I'll do the body movement because that's going to dictate how long it takes for the character to get off stage. And it's going to dictate where the positioning of the hips are in relation to the feet. So let's go ahead and start by animating his torso. And just for the sake of ease, I'm going to assume it's going to take 2 seconds for him to walk from there off stage. Now let's just see how it looks. So I'm going to move forward 2 seconds from the start. And we're just going to move this guy off frame or off stage. I'm going to smooth it out. And we'll see. Let's just see how that feels. Now there's some dynamics happening with his neck and his torso. I'm going to have to turn that off. That's not too bad. I can't tell if it's too fast or not. I'm just going to leave it. If it's too fast, we'll adjust it later. Okay, so with the whole 1 second for a walk cycle, that means that his hips, there's going to be a down position, an up position, a down position, and then an up position. So that means that within that 1 second cycle, there's going to be 2 down poses and actually 3 up poses. So up, down, up, down, up. So if this is my up position, that means that right here in the middle of 5 seconds and 6 seconds, I know for sure that this is going to be an up position. So I'm going to keyframe it, my position. And then I'm going to come in between the middle keyframe and the beginning keyframe, and we'll do a down position. So that will be my down pose. And then I know at 6 seconds will be an up pose as well. Oops. What did I just do? So I'm going to keyframe the position here, and then right here I'm going to add a keyframe and pull it down. So we have this up, down movement. I'm going to smooth it out. And if it's looking good, once I get it looking how I want, that's when I'll go back and add my feet walking. And then I'll add my arms moving. All right, so let's do this again. So right here in between, we'll add a keyframe for the position. Right here in between, we'll add a keyframe for the down position. And then we'll have a keyframe for the down position. Make sure they're all smooth. And let's just watch. All right. He is going up and down. You can see here, though, there's like a jump. And that's because there's, I guess I should have done linear on my X and Y movement, but I'm just going to eyeball these. And that'll be fine. It's just going to add that unique aspect to his performance. And again, I don't typically animate characters' walk cycles this way. So if I make mistakes, it's going to happen. All right, that's fine. It's got a nice little up and down bob to him. Now, if you really want to get fun with it, we can add a keyframe to the scale of his torso so that as he comes down here, he'll scrunch down a bit. And then as he comes here, he'll go back up to, was it 103? 103 might be a bit much, but I'm going to leave it at 103. We'll copy these and we'll paste it. And we're really trying to hit that 6-second mark. So maybe I'll pull these out a bit. And then we'll copy and paste. Okay, and then what we can do is offset all of these keyframes by like maybe 3 or 4. And I'm just going to You can do this as a perfect science if you really want to make it, duplicatable. I'm just kind of eyeballing things at the moment, which isn't the best way to do it. But look, now we have a nice squash and stretch on his torso. I don't know if you can see that. But he's got movement there in his shoulders going up and down. All right, and that's what we were going for. Okay, and now let's see. I want to see if we can if we copy these keyframes for the squash and stretch of the torso. If we copy them, can we paste them here? So I'm going to add a keyframe and then see if we can paste. And let's see what happens if we offset these by like, I don't know, 3 or 4 frames. Yeah, we got a movement in the head. Let's keep going. Let's do like 5 or 6 frames. Oh, that offset, that cancels it out. So let's go ahead and pull it back a couple frames. There we go. Nice bob to the head. So I like the movement that we're getting in the torso. The only thing that I'm not a big fan of, let's see, is the position of this character's head and neck. And it's actually not because of the way that it's angled. It's because of the dynamics that are applied to it. So what I'm going to do right here, so he's going to step back, and as he comes forward, we'll turn it off. Whoops. Right here, your dynamics will be off. I want to make sure it doesn't like pop out of its thing like it does. I wonder if we can smooth it. You think you can smooth it? Nope. Okay. So right here, we'll turn it off right at the pinnacle of its movement, up, and then we'll go. All right, let's see how that looks. Okay. So it turns off, looks good. But because it turns off, I need to now animate some of this animation back into him. So that by this point here, he's ready to go. Okay, so neck will come up. Maybe we'll even go right here like that. I think that there is some dynamics happening here on his head too that I might need to get rid of. All right, so if this is where I turned off the neck dynamics, let's turn off the head dynamics. Now we'll grab these guys and let's smooth this out. Grab this. Let's make sure this is smooth. All right, now let's watch one more time. Okay, not too bad, but maybe maybe the head is flopping backwards too much. I don't want it to feel like he's being dragged. I want him to feel like, he's kind of like maybe pushing his head into position. So if we choose to go that route, that means that his torso and his head are going to have to start scrunching forward here. So if he's back in this position, torso would come forward, head and neck would come down. That feels a little bit better. Head's coming forward and then up into position. I think what I'll do is pull these guys over here. Whoops. Oh, that looks good. I'll smooth this one out. Cool. I like it. You know what I think it needs? I think when he steps here, well, that foot needs to come down quicker, but he also needs to be down. And then he's going to be down and then kind of explode up into his walk cycle. Oh, rigging. Yeah, I was actually contacted by aliens, and I've reverse engineered all the information they gave me, and that's how I can. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I would say that having familiarity with After Effects, yeah, it gave me a little bit of a head up, not a heads up, a foot up. But hey, I gotta be honest, like it took me a long time to get this rig down, to understand like what I was doing. It wasn't like a day or two. It probably wasn't even like a week or two. It might have been longer. Just because I was I was in the middle of a big project working in After Effects. And then during that project, I was like, I can't do it anymore. I have to switch to something better. And so during the time that I was working on that project, I was also learning how to rig in Moho. And I made a lot of mistakes. And so what ended up happening was this rig, which probably would take me about a day or two now to make, ended up taking me weeks because I was playing around with things. I was doing things the wrong way. Then I'd have to go back and redo them, which I was fine with because I was learning so much. And every step of the way, I was just like blown away by how much power this program has. But yeah, I would say the hardest part wasn't thinking about how to lay out the rig. The hardest part was understanding what the tools did, how they manipulated the layers. And once I figured that out, it was, it became easier. Even just the other day, I was doing this thing like changing layers in this. It was very daunting because what I do is I create one rig and then I change the shape layers or the layers to become a new character. And I was spending all this time going through like, okay, here's the neck, let me change it. Okay, here's the collar, let me change it. But I really just wanted to select something, but you can't. Like all the layers are locked, which is good. And then I just like randomly somehow like push these buttons and I was like, oh my gosh, if you hold Alt and then right click the mouse, you can select the layer. It's like, what? And so that became a game changer to where I can speed up my process of creating new characters from the same rig. So that's cool. There's still a lot that I have to learn, obviously, but it's like every step of the way I learn something new, and it's like, okay, that's the shortcut I've been looking for. Boom, finally got it. But yeah, honestly, it wasn't that quick. I probably learned how to rig in After Effects quicker. But and again, like whenever I'm rigging, there's so much weight on getting it right the first time for me because I reuse that rig so many times because I'm creating so many characters with it. So I'll spend an unneeded amount of time just looking at it, moving things over and over and over and over, making sure it's right, instead of just going, that's good enough, let's go. But well, thanks, McCoy. I appreciate that. I would say the reason that it appears that I've picked it up so quickly is just because I've had so much fun in this program. Like once I just started dipping my toe into this program, I could care less about After Effects at this point. All I wanted to do was like focus on this thing and like get it right, because it is so much fun to animate in a program that's not just chugging and chugging, trying to understand what you're doing with your rig, you know? So it's been cool. It's been a cool process. And I would say, yeah, going back to that question, I would say just sheer drive and willpower to find something better. It made me really like dive into this 100% and be like, okay, what do I need to know? How do I need to know it? And like, I'm here. I'm all yours, Moho. Let me just give me all the information. But it's been challenging at times. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Rigging was easily the most difficult thing. Yeah. Yeah. So before I even started animating, there was a gamble because I didn't know how the animation software functioned, because I was spending so much time rigging that I was just hopeful. I was like, I don't even know if it's going to make my animation better. I have no clue how to animate in this program. I just jumped in and started rigging, and I spent probably a good like 3 weeks making just this one rig. And then once I finished the rig, and it was like everything was moving great, and I was like, this is just so cool. Then I jumped into animation, and I was like, okay, how am I going to animate in this program? I would say learning how to animate in this program was a lot quicker than rigging, because there's so many unknown variables when you're rigging. Like, if I'm going to do this arm raise, like what kind of smart action am I going to do to make it look smooth? Or if I'm doing a head turn, how much do I want to do? In the beginning, I thought, I'm going to make a character that can spin 360 degrees. That's my goal. I want a character that can do that. The first round, I got really close. I was like, I'm loving this. And then I realized, if I do a 360-degree character rig, I can do it, but would I be able to reuse that rig and create a new character easily out of that original one? And I realized very quickly that if I was going to do that, I would probably be spending, a few hours, if not a whole day, on just making a new character out of that one original character. And that just wasn't going to do it. I have maybe 20 or 30 minutes that I can like focus on making a new rig. So I just couldn't do it. So then I ended up doing, 3/4 profile, which is fine. It's not the 360-degree rig that I wanted, but I could get there. That's the hopeful thing. It's like, I know I could create a rig that can spin around in this. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't need that for every shot. In fact, I probably hardly ever need a character that can spin around. So I was trying so hard and spending so much time trying to get that right. And that's probably why it took me so long to figure out rigging in this, because I was trying to get the program just to do, or I was trying to get the rig just to do too much at once. And especially at my first go, you know? So, but yeah, man, thanks for your question. I love the rigging process. It does take time. I love the animation process way more. All right. Let's see if we can wrap up this walk cycle. So he's going to come up, and then that head's going to dip in. He's going to push his way through it. Let's just see how it looks. So it's a little too harsh. He's kind of like hitting it in. And I think that's because the dynamics turn off a little bit too late, because it gets really snappy here. So maybe I'm going to have to turn off the dynamics here so that they're not even influencing his movement at all. Oops. All right, let's grab these guys. Find our dynamics. Here they are. I'm going to pull it over, stop it here. Now let's watch one more time, just see. Okay, that's better. Yeah, it makes sense. This is the most requested tutorial I get for 360-degree rigs. It's not worth it. Best to build your rigs to plan storyboard and not have the rig that does it all. Yeah, it's in a perfect world, it'd be great to have a rig that you could just do whatever you wanted with. I guess at that point you would just move to 3D or something. I have to keep reminding myself, this is 2D. It's not perfect. And I was hopeful that I would find an easy solution for that. And again, going back to what I was talking about, you can do a 360-degree rig, 360-degree rig. The question is it worth it? You know, are you going to spend all that time to get it to do what you want, and then maybe never even use that shot of the back of their head? Probably. You just got to make sure you're spending your time wisely. And I spent my time unwisely in the beginning. All right, I'm going to pull the head. I'm going to start to have his head dip in a little quicker, like here maybe. So that by the time we get here, it has fully resolved into position. All right, that's looking good. It's got more power, authority, purpose. You know, I'm coming in. Otherwise, if your head was going back, you'd be like, you know, ragdoll being pulled. It's not what you want. So let's look at the head turns. I want to make sure they're hitting on the right spots. Okay, I'm going to move this over, and we'll turn the head. Maybe we'll go full profile. So with this rig, this is the farthest I got. Well, I take that back. I was able to get a full rotation. It was super clunky. But for everything that I need with this character, profile works just fine. So we have a full profile. I actually did get the body to turn to the back. It's not working great because the arms are all weird, but I was able to do that at least. That's the easier thing to do. All right, let's smooth this out. Okay, so this comes over. Let's change this face a bit. So right here, let's do a blink. So he'll close his eyes. Change all this. I'm gonna close his mouth too. We'll just go to like a straight smile or something. Okay, so these corners will come up, mouth will close. I'm gonna tilt it into this direction. Eyes will come down, eyebrows will come down. Okay, I feel like it needs to be hitting here. So let's grab all this stuff. I'm gonna pull it in. A little bit more. And then right here, we are going to animate. Eyes open, eyebrows up. And that looks good. Let's smooth this out. All right, there we go. Like it. It's got a nice pace to him. It's not too fast, not too slow. I think I'll do the easiest solution first. We're going to do his arms because that's easy. Just rotate. Easy peasy. So let's go ahead and start with this arm. So the arm comes down here, hits it. Maybe it'll extend. At least by this point here, it needs to be forward. Can we rotate? It kind of works. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this wrist, rotate it down. Ooh, there's no keyframe there? Okay, this one has a keyframe. And that one has a keyframe. That one didn't? What the? Tip. In case you ever want a walk cycle that moves forward at a consistent pace, the relative cycle and edit pace relative keys will get you there. There's a great tutorial by Victor P on it. Oh, okay. Thanks for the tip. Yeah, I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to do the walk cycle. Now, when you do the cycle keyframes, you're saying like do your 1 second walk cycle and then cycle those keyframes over and over. And then once you have that movement, then you would manipulate the actual character layer, like the bone layer, so that it moves. Is that what you're saying? Is his feet being stuck to the ground? Yeah. He is stuck on something sticky. Okay, so now let's do I'm going to copy and paste these frames. We'll put them back. to where they started. Now if we smooth it, I'm going to pull these back too. All right, cool. So that's going to be nice, easy peasy. I'm going to copy these, paste them again. And we're just going to keep that arm swinging until he's completely off frame. There we go. And then one last thing I'll do is I will take the forearm keyframes, move it out, I don't know, maybe like 3. And we'll take the wrist and move it out maybe 6. Let's see if that gives a nice... It's actually, I don't know, it's not as exaggerated as I would expect. Because I feel like I'm doing the same thing that I would do in After Effects typically. And After Effects would always give me such like a great kind of movement to it. This one still feels kind of stiff. And I don't know if I'm not... I'm not sure if I'm not just moving it off enough. Let's see. So if this comes down, this forearm should be extended a little bit more. So let's look. All right, that's better. But it feels stiff when it hits here. So it comes... So maybe what I have to do is pull this like that. Additive cycle and paste relative will repeat the animation, but move it forward from the point. You can test it. And we'll simple circle. Use transitions to move the ball forward and copy keys. Paste relative. It's hard to explain without doing it, but it moves from that point forward. Cycle and paste relative will repeat the animation, but move it forward from that point. Oh, no worries. I'm trying to understand. Like, does it move? Are you saying that it moves for you, so that when your character is cycling their walk, like, does it know how? Does it know that it's a walk cycle and it's moving it? Is that what you're saying? Because that will blow my mind if... Dude. I mean, that would be insane. I might just rip the computer off my desk and throw it if that's true. All right, let's look at this arm. So it comes down. Feel like it needs to create simple circle. Key animation of ball moving forward. Transform. Copy keys. Edit. Paste relative. Create a simple circle. All right, let's give this a shot. I'm going to see what you're talking about. Let's create a simple circle. Let's call it circle. Okay. And then you say, oops. So create a simple circle, key the animation of the ball moving forward. So we'll whoops. Was that right? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to move it forward 1 second. And then you say, copy the keyframes. Should I keep it linear? Or linear. We'll go copy the keyframes, edit, paste relative. So it picks up from where it left off. I feel like I've seen that. Can you do it down here too? So that's cool. So if I copy these keyframes, and then I can go paste relative again, and then it just keeps going. Okay, so with that said, if I was to do his foot walking, could I copy those key? I'm assuming I can copy that movement relative, and it'll continue to step forward, because that's cool. Because I was doing that before, where I'd copy the keyframes and it would offset, and then I'd go to the graph editor and then I'd push the foot forward on the graph. I'd offset it. What happens if you do like smooth? I'm guessing it has to be linear. Yeah, it's gonna do like. Oh no! It does it just linear, I guess. So you don't have to paste the keyframes always. You just use the additive cycle option. You can move the bone transition or the translation position. It keeps you from having to keep adjusting the keys in your motion graph each time. Yeah. Dude, that's super helpful. It's so cool. That's why I love this program so much, because I feel like it's animators. I don't know much about Victor or anyone else who created the program, but it feels like animators made the program with animation in mind. And so it's like all these different things that animators deal with on a daily basis. They said, well, let's figure out a way to make it a better solution. Dude, that's so cool. That's what we're going to use for this. Awesome. So let's do, or I wonder, well, no, I don't. I'm not going to do that. So I've got the movement of the body. I'm just going to stick with that. I should probably try that relative trick for the body as well, but I'm just going to keep it. So the arm. Let's keep this arm moving backward here. Cool. Sorry, don't mean to hijack it. No worries. Keep the questions coming in. Or not questions. Give me those tips, man. You're killing me, or you're giving me so much inspiration. I'm glad to hear it helps. Definitely solves the issues of sliding the feet or the walk cycle, trying to move your layer forward. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great, man, that's so cool. Okay. I will say this, not to toot my own horn, but I'm really loving the bounce, like the way that this feels from right here on. It feels like such a great walk cycle. Sometimes I got to pinch myself and be like, did I do that? I love it. All right, anyway, here we go. So let's get the other arm moving. You know what's funny? Sometimes I'll get like the top half looking great. Or even I'll do like 1 foot walking and I'm like, oh my gosh, like the movement in that leg looks spectacular. And then I'll copy and paste those keyframes to the other leg. And there's something just off about it, you know? And you're like, oh, come on. Like, are you kidding me? It looked so perfect before. Why can't it look this great with 2 legs? It's like, if only that character only had 1 leg, this would be perfect. But then you have to go back and like re-engineer it and figure out, well, why doesn't it look good with 2 legs? And, you know, it's usually the timing and all that stuff. Yes, thank you, McCoy. Okay, so let's get that other arm moving. I'll probably see if I can just copy and paste the keyframes from his left arm to his right. Can we do this? Let's see. So we'll go from here. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. Now let's do this. Is it going to work? No, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? That work? No. Okay. That's all right. So if at this point the arm needs to be forward, we'll just keep it how it is. That means that at this middle point, the arm will be back. Hand back to. Oops. Cool. You probably can't tell in the animation, but I did it in this animation, and it saved me a lot of time since it was a quick turnaround project, about a week and a half. I'll have to go back and look at your animation. I can't tell if there's a link there or not, but there might be. Okay, so we got arm coming back. Everything's looking good. I'm going to smooth out these. And then right here, we're going to copy and paste them back forward. All right. Then I'll copy and paste this. I want this to be the full second. Awesome. And then one last thing, I'm going to offset the forearm and the wrist accordingly. So I think it was like 6 frames or something crazy. There we go. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. Oh, it's so good. I think it comes down a little too slow. But the overall movement when he's walking looks so good. I think I'll take that little section where he's walking, create its own walk cycle. And it's going to look amazing. Okay, I'm going to hold the arm up just a bit here. So this arm right here looks like it's slowly moving down or forward, I guess. But instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it upward like that. Let's go ahead and smooth these out. I don't know if that's right. Let me look. Used paste relative. All right, it's still slow right there. I don't like that. Maybe because do these need to be like that? All right, let's move this back a bit. All right, that's probably good. Hello, Titan. All right, we got this nice wave happening. That's good enough. Yeah. In a perfect world, I'll go back and polish some of this stuff up. Right now, I really want to get onto those feet. I want to get these feet done quick and be done. Be done with it. All right, so I'm going to animate. We'll do this back foot first because it's moving first. Continuing from, okay. Used pace relative was continuing from another comment. Oh, interesting. You're on YouTube's watch list, I guess. They're like, hey, we got to watch out for this guy. He says some pretty crazy stuff. All right, so here we are going to start with, so if at 5 seconds is where I want my animation cycle to start, yeah. I'm going to keyframe, I'm just going to keyframe everything in the foot. All my rotations. Just because I don't know what I'm going to be animating. I don't want to get in there and like move something and realize the last keyframe I have for it was at 1 second. So we're just going to get a nice keyframe here. We're going to rotate this bend up. So the foot's doing this. And then at this point, the toe will take over. And we could probably, well, I don't know. Yeah, why not? Let's see. So because I scaled, or because I changed the foot dimensions, it doesn't really rotate on the toe anymore. I could have probably fixed that with the all right, but that's good enough. Right here, there's going to be a switch between that rotation, maybe the position and rotation of this. So let's move this around. This will be my passing position. So if you guys are familiar with animation and walk cycles, you have your contact poses, which are the feet spread. Then you have your passing position where your foot is in the middle giving you balance and your other foot is bent in the swing. So that's called your passing position, which is this one right here. So we've got this coming up, and then we're going to have it go forward so that by the middle, in between 5 and 6 seconds, will be our next contact pose. So these are going to reset. This will come back down. This will come upward. And you want your contact poses to be where your feet are apart. So let's just look at how this looks. Okay, so right here, it gets a little strange because the foot starts to do this thing. Okay, the foot roll. How did you figure that out? No, I'm not ahead of you. I don't know. I was so hopeful that this was going to work. I had no idea if it was. And obviously it breaks in some aspects, like the back strap kind of separates and it's not doing its thing. But when I figured out how to just connect connect the points of a shape to the bones, I just figured, okay, so if I'm going to do it, the points of the tip of the foot will attach to this. The points to the back of the foot will attach to this. And then it became as simple as like attaching these two bones to this rotation and then attaching this rotation to this one. Yeah, you're right. It gets confusing. But the problem, and this is where you've probably seen that I've run into, is that when you make your foot rig that complex, it's really hard to come up with a different solution to get your foot to rotate in the other direction. And that's what I'm struggling with. I'm like, okay, I've created this great foot roll, but it only works in one direction. Like, what the heck? Come on. So I don't know what I'm going to do just yet. I don't know. Okay, this foot needs to be up a little bit more. All right, that feels better. And it's going to hit here and then roll down into its reset. So let's see how that foot looks. So it's a little poppy. So it hits there, goes pow, and it snaps back out. That's not what I want. So I'm going to move this back to where it's just slightly bent a little bit. Looks like we get it still pops though. It's not what I want. Maybe if I smooth everything out, it will help me. Fingers crossed. All right, it's fine. Okay, so now I'm really curious to see how this whole this whole relative thing happens. Okay, so we've got a nice movement there. Starts at 5 seconds, which means the next one should start at 6 seconds. So if I select all this, copy, and then do paste relative, what's going to happen? Are you kidding me? That's amazing. at that. McCoy, you are a lifesaver. That's so easy. Oh my gosh. Let's watch that. Oh, that's amazing. Okay, it might not be like, I mean, my animation needs work, but dude, that's so cool that that works. So he steps. Oh, I love it. So the problem that I'm seeing, just watching it back with 2 steps, is I think he steps up too high. Humans don't really step like that unless you're jogging or running. So what I want to do is get this foot down a bit. So I'm going to have to flip some rotations here. Yes. Yes, Arthur. Yes way. That's pretty cool. All right, so at this point, I'm going to switch these guys around. I'll see if I can do it like that. That looks better. There we go. So it rolls forward, and then it switches. Perfect. So I'll grab these, smooth them out. Awesome. I'm going to grab these bones again. Check this out. Oh my gosh. If you weren't in here just a second ago to see this, I have a footstep right here. Oh, wait, no, not those bones. What am I doing? I have a footstep. And if I copy these keyframes, right there, I have one step. If I copy them and paste them here at 6 seconds, you're ready for the magic. Paste relative. And then it does it again. The magic happens again. Oh my gosh. That was unreal. Look at that. And here's the part I was just talking about. So I do one leg and I go, great, it looks awesome. And now we'll see if the other leg looks just as good together. So I want to know, can I, because this would be awesome if I could, can I get these keyframes pasted to that foot? I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my darndest to make it happen. I know that it's going to mess up my position. Okay, position aside, I'm going to see if I can get the rotations of the foot in, and then I'll just delete the position. Okay, so that foot hits here, which means that the next rotation will start happening here. Ooh, what if I do relative? Can I paste relative? Oh, that didn't work. Yeah, I'm having issues with getting these keyframes added in. And I don't know if it's because I feel like I've been able to do this before, but maybe it's because I'm selecting too many bones at once. Oh, what the? How did that happen? Did you see that? His foot went flying. Oh, some stuff's happened. All right, let me back up. I'm clearly adding keyframes in places they don't belong. All right, so he does his walk. That's all looking good. He gets out of there. Let me try copying these keyframes once more. Then I'm going to try adding them here one more time just to see, can I make it happen? Let me just throw some keyframes in here. Oh, I did the thing again. Why is it doing it on that foot? These should be... I can't tell. I can't tell what I'm doing. All right, I'm just going to manually do it. Here we go. So right here, let's add in our keyframes. It's going to go, foot roll. We know that much. And then this one's going to take over. And this one will go back. So we got foot roll, foot roll, and position will come here. I think right here will be, no, that can't be passing position because this needs to be passing position. So we'll do that. Maybe at this point, we'll switch these guys around. Okay, and then we'll do our full step. Right here. Where does this cycle start? So it starts here. Does it end here? I can't tell. Let's try it. We'll rotate that up. We'll reset this one. Make sure that this one is reset. And we'll pull this one just almost forward. Let's go ahead and smooth this out. Go to bone, freeze, selected bones. I would make it a shortcut. Mine is set for Alt F. It makes a key for the rotation, translation, and scale. Oh, go to bone, freeze, selected bones. So the freeze is essentially adding, like you're saying, is adding a keyframe to everything. So instead of having to click through all the different ones, it just goes boom. There you go. Interesting. Freeze pose. Dude, this is great stuff. Okay. Freeze bones. Control F is good for creating a key for all bones. Oh, Control F. So if I move here and do Control F, oh my gosh. Control F. That's it. That's the ticket. All right. So I can see that this foot is stretching out maybe a little bit too far. See how it's like by the time he takes his front step, This leg is like way back there. So I think what I want to do is on that step right here where he comes forward, I want to push it out a little bit so that we're forward in the movement. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just going to move it. Oh, put it out here like that. Boom. So he steps. You know, it might not be ideal, but just get through it. Okay. There we go. At least maybe this roll can happen a little quicker. Let's try that. Let's try adding this roll a little quicker. So roll will start here. Let's go and smooth all this stuff out. All right, we got that pop again. So let's get rid of this pop. That's going to be moving this forward. And our rotation will reset here. And we'll move that offset a little bit, smooth it out. All right, let's see how this looks. So he does his little wave, he steps, and he's walking. Okay, so I can see that it does the job. It doesn't quite look how, I don't know, there's something just a little bit off about it. His feet kind of do some weird stuff, but I think that other foot just stomps down a little too hard, maybe. Let me look. Yeah, this back foot stomps. Why are you stomping? See, this one, it comes in, heel, and then rolls. Let me see how many frames I did for the roll. 1, 2, 3. See, that's not bad. It looks nice and smooth. This one comes in, it's just like, boom. I think it's because this foot is up. Maybe what I'll do is switch these guys around. Maybe this one can be reset at this point. Yeah, why is it? Don't go up that high. 1, 2, 3. Let's look at this one. This one stays flat up until the contact. Okay. So it stays flat up until contact. This one does not stay flat. Look at that. Yeah. I should probably be in the graph editor right now. We'll just lower this like so. So this one stays flat until it hits here at the contact. Then it rotates up. Whoops. And then we do 1, 2, 3. Let's try that, see how it looks. Smooth. All right, there we go. Still feels like it's pinching right here a little bit. So let me see if maybe I lift this up a bit. All right. Looking at keys is good to know where the timing and spacing is for your keys, but for all else, it helps to see your curves. Yeah. I've been having, like, I like the curves in the graph editor, but I don't know, I've been having a hard time maneuvering around it. I don't know, it seems not that there's necessarily any problem with it. It's just it seemed easier for me in After Effects to go into the curve editor and figure out what I was manipulating. This one has been a little challenging to like get in there and do it. But yes, you should always work in the curves, in the curve editor. But now that I've kind of gone through here and redone some of the timing and the positioning of the foot, I'm liking it better. It feels a little more natural. Yeah. All right, now let's try this paste relative. Let's see how it goes. So I'm going to grab all of these keys on the foot. And it looks like it starts right here, actually just before the middle, maybe about 2 frames before or so, 3 frames. So I'm going to copy these keyframes. I'll go forward. If this here is my middle, which I honestly don't know if it is, I'm just eyeballing it, and I go forward about 3 frames. Let's go ahead and paste. Paste. Oops, not paste layer. Oh no. Paste relative. Where am I? Oh yeah. Control Shift V. Let's see. Man, that's so cool. I love that. I don't manipulate much Bezier handles unless I need to. It just helps to see why things might be moving or snapping weird. Yeah, smooth keyframes can bug out or give weird ease times. What would you say you typically use? Do you use smooth keyframes or like ease in, ease out? I don't know why. I tried like the ease in, ease out option, and I feel like smooth always it felt smoother to me for some reason, so I've stuck with that. But hey, all in all, I gotta say I'm liking this walk cycle. I think it's doing pretty great. So with this done, does that mean I could take just this walk cycle where he's moving from left to right and copy and paste relative, and he'll keep going as long as I'm pasting in the right spot? Because that would be amazing. Like, I want to keep this excitement, and I don't want to like jump into something that's going to like mess up and ruin the experience. But if that could happen to where I copy and paste that walk cycle and he can pasting relative keyframes works, oh man, that'd be amazing. Smooth and Bezier is your most used. Yeah. If I have something where the animation has to like ease in and then hit hard, I'll do the Bezier. But other than that, I typically just use smooth. All right. I'm liking this. The only thing that's like super funky is his little skirt thing. And that's a bummer. I don't know what I'm going to do about that because it's connected to his legs. So as his leg passes in front of the other one, as his leg passes in front of the other one, it breaks it essentially. So I don't know. For the time being, I'm not going to tackle that problem. I will tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to turn it off. That's what I'm going to do. You don't need it. All right. So the last thing that I need to do is just adjust these hands, and then I'm going to call it a day, guys. I'm just going to make these hands step and not smooth. I'll do the same with this one. These will all be step, not smooth, so that when I watch it, hopefully his hands will not be shifting, but they will be snapping. I love it. All right, guys, that is the walk cycle that we created. Little wave, little walk. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed following along. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. That was awesome. Yeah. The important part of using relative cycles, you have to make sure you start and end the keys are exactly the same. Yeah, that makes sense. Tutorial, Victor. Come on, Victor. 3 hours. Daniel, yeah, you're 3 hours late, buddy. Anyway, thanks again, guys. That was great. And thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to keep doing these as long as you guys show up and comment. I'll just keep going. And thank you again so much for being here. And I'll see you guys next week. Next Monday, 9 o'clock Mountain Time here in America. So be here or be square. Thanks, guys. Have a great day, great week, and I'll catch you next time. Adios.